It happened in November of 2022. I had just moved into a new apartment in a quieter part of town, the kind with cracked sidewalks, old mailboxes, and neighbors who nod but never talk. Rent was cheap, and I liked the solitude. The first weird thing was the knocking. It started about a week after I moved in, always around 3:17 a.m. Just 3 knocks. Soft, deliberate. I figured it was the pipes or maybe a night owl upstairs, but when I asked the landlord, he just stared at me for a second too long before shrugging it off. Then one night, I stayed up. I sat on the couch with the lights off, just waiting. Right on time, the knocks came, 3, spaced about 2 seconds apart. But they weren't from the front door. They were from the hallway closet. I didn't open it. I just stared, heart pounding, and eventually went back to bed. The next morning, I opened the closet. Nothing but my coats and a few unopened boxes. I told myself I was tired, maybe dreaming. But after that, things escalated. I started waking up to the smell of cigarettes, even though I don't smoke. Once, I found my kitchen chair pulled all the way to the center of the living room, like someone had been sitting there watching me sleep. I changed the locks, bought a camera, but the footage always cut out between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m., just static. The last night I stayed there, I woke up to the sound of breathing. Not mine, just steady, raspy inhales coming from the foot of the bed. I couldn't move, not sleep paralysis, just raw fear. When I finally sat up and flipped on the lamp, no one was there. But my closet door was wide open. I moved out the next day, never went back for the boxes. The worst part? A few weeks ago, I got a call from an unknown number at 3:17 a.m. I didn't answer, but the voicemail was just 3 slow knocks. Nothing else. I turned 25 on March 9th, 2023. My roommate Claire insisted on throwing me a small party. Nothing big, just close friends, some music, and a store-bought cake. She even hung those cheap, happy birthday letters crookedly across the living room. It was a chill night. People arrived around 8 p.m. We had maybe 10 guests total, including a couple neighbors from down the hall. The music was low, just background noise. Around 9:30, I went and grabbed more paper plates from the hallway closet, and when I came back, there was a guy I didn't recognize standing by the window. He was tall, maybe mid-30s, wearing a black hoodie. Pale, kind of gaunt. I figured he came with someone, so I smiled at him and said, "Hey, help yourself to some cake." He didn't respond, just nodded slowly. After that, I didn't see him for a bit. I assumed he left. Around midnight, the party died down. People started heading out. I helped Claire clean up, but I couldn't stop thinking about the guy. When I asked Claire, she frowned. "I didn't see anyone like that." "Are you sure?" I went through the photos we took. A few group shots, some blurry selfies, and then one picture from earlier in the night, taken by my friend Tyler. We were posing on the couch, all smiles. But in the background, just barely visible in the dark window reflection, was that same man, looking straight at the camera. I didn't sleep well that night. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw his face. The next morning, I checked the front door camera Claire installed a few weeks back. It records anyone who enters or leaves. I scrolled through the footage. Every guest had a timestamp, laughter, hellos, coats coming off. But there was no footage of the man in the hoodie entering or leaving, like he was never there at all. This happened in October 2021, during my senior year. It was a Wednesday. I remember because we had that awful meatloaf for lunch. 5th period had just started, and we were watching a movie in Mr. Callahan's history class when the intercom crackled. "This is a lockdown. Repeat, this is a lockdown. Please follow procedure." Now, we'd had plenty of drills, but this one felt different. No drill disclaimer, just flat, serious instructions. Mr. Callahan didn't say a word. He locked the door, turned off the lights, and motioned for us to get down behind the lab counters. We all crouched in silence. No giggles or whispers like usual, just breathing. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Someone's phone buzzed, a text from their mom. "Are you safe? There's something going on at the school." That's when things got real. Somewhere down the hall, we heard a locker slam, then footsteps. Slow, steady. They stopped right outside our door. I was close enough to the front of the room to see the small window in the door. A shadow passed in front of it, then stood still. No knocking, no rattling, just watching. Mr. Callahan didn't move. He just held his finger to his lips. I swear I could hear someone breathing on the other side. Then, and I'll never forget this, whoever it was knelt down and looked under the door. We saw an eye, bloodshot, staring. Someone near me let out a tiny gasp, and the shadow jerked back. We heard them walk away, slowly. The lockdown lasted another hour. Eventually, cops escorted us out in groups. They never found anyone inside. No weapons. No intruders. But here's the part that still messes me up. A few days later, I walked past that classroom. I glanced at the door. There were smudges on the glass, oily fingerprints. And on the floor, faint but real, were two dirty handprints, like someone had been lying flat, face pressed to the bottom of the door. No one ever explained it.